Good morning, boys and girls. How are we this morning? I'm doing all right. I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday was a beautiful day, and I spent all my time and energy outdoors having fun. I hope you were able to enjoy it too before the snow comes. Well, continuing on with Abraham and God's journey that he had planned for Abraham. This lesson is going to be how he promised Abraham a son, and that promise, of course, came true. So, this takes place in chapters 17, 18, and a little bit on to 19, 20, 21. All right. First, it starts off with the first promise. God told Sarah and Abraham that they were going to have a son. And Abraham had another name planned, Ishmael. But God said, no, you'll have a son and his name will be Isaac. I will make a covenant, an agreement with him. And it will be an agreement that lasts forever with all his descendants. That was in chapter 17, verse 19. Then a few months after, in Genesis 18, it says that the Lord appeared to Abraham. Abraham didn't know it was the Lord. I don't know if he was in a disguise or what. But Abraham saw three men outside his tent. Imagine him in a tent, okay? And he saw three men coming. He quickly went out and greeted them. And he was very hospitable. That means that he was kind to them. And he wanted to bring them into his home and give them a good meal and good food. So, but one of them was the Lord in disguise. And so Abraham quickly went to Sarah and he said, get our nice fine flour, make it into loaves of bread, get some milk, and they prepared a nice meal for their guests. Yeah, it's my baby. And so as she's preparing the meal, she's inside the tent, and Abraham is outside with the guests. And one of the guests, the Lord, says, where's Sarah? Where's your wife Sarah? Oh, she's inside the tent. She's making the bread. And the Lord says, I will return again in 1 year's time, and your wife will have a son. What? Abraham is like, I had heard it. I don't think he was doubting the Lord, but it seemed pretty impossible because he was 100 years old and Sarah was 90 years old. That's pretty old. And to be quite honest, you can't have babies when you're that old. It just doesn't happen. This was an impossible thing. So Sarah was making the food inside the tent, and she heard him say that she was going to have a baby. She's kind of chuckling to herself. Me, a 90-year-old woman, really. I'm going to be pregnant and have a baby. Sure. No. But in her mind, she was kind of doubting, and she laughed. She's like, I can't imagine myself getting pregnant this old. Are you crazy? The Lord outside the tent says, why does your wife laugh? He couldn't see her. She was inside the tent at this time. He knew. He's God. He's like, why, Abraham, did your wife just laugh to herself and say she couldn't have a son? I tell you, she will have a son. When I return again this year, you and her will have a son. It's going to happen. So what faith Abraham and Sarah must have had when finally she becomes pregnant in just a few short months after that, and the Lord returns. Let's see. Sarah became pregnant. This is now in Genesis chapter 21. Sarah became pregnant, and she gave birth to a son for Abraham, even in his old age. And everything happened at the time that God had said it would. Abraham named his son Isaac. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. And Sarah said, God made me laugh. Everyone who hears about this will laugh at me. No one thought that I would be able to have Abraham's child, but here I am, and I have given Abraham a son, even this old. So, God's promises come true. And even when it seems like it is totally impossible, God can make the impossible possible. Those things can happen because God can do anything. And that's the point of this lesson. We want to know that through this story, we know that anything can happen with God. Anything is possible. Do you have some impossible things that seem like it's never going to happen with you? Some impossible things. Maybe your brother and sister are constantly mean to you. I don't know. And you're like, they just never stop. This is never going to end. It's so annoying. Well, God can save people. God can heal people. God can give people babies when it seems that they're too old. And God can make snow appear when it seems to be beautiful spring outside. Yeah, we're going to get dumped on with snow today. That seems impossible because it's so beautiful outside. How can that be? Well, it's God. God can do anything because He is God and He is in charge. So that was a great reminder through Abraham having his son Isaac that God keeps His promises and that anything is possible with God. All right. I'll see you next time. Don't know when, but I plan on appearing again with a little lesson. Have a great day and enjoy the snow.